Luka Dončić was born into the family of a professional basketball player who competed in the Slovenian Basketball League. He spent almost his entire childhood surrounded by basketball. He watched his father, his teammates, his friends, and gradually fell in love with the game himself. By the age of 5, he was already playing with a basketball, and at 8 years old, he attended his very first practice. It didn't last long, only 16 minutes. After that, the coach said that Luka was incredibly talented and had huge potential, so he moved him to a group with older kids. Even among them, Luka performed really well. He played at the same level as they did, even though he was 4 years younger. By the age of 13, he was no longer just a promising young player. Up until then, he had always trained and played against opponents who were several years older than him. But for the first time, he got the chance to compete in an international tournament against players his own age, and it was complete domination. Luka destroyed everyone. In the final game, he scored 54 points and recorded a triple-double. He was named the tournament MVP and showed that he was simply on another level compared to everyone else. About 6 months later, he received an offer from Real Madrid, and for the sake of his career, he made a very difficult decision. He left his parents, his friends, and moved to Spain at just 13 years old. After such a dominant tournament, Luka moved to Spain. It was incredibly difficult for him. He had no family nearby to support him, and he had no friends. On top of that, he didn't speak Spanish at all, and he barely knew any English either. Because of that, it was very hard for him to communicate with the people around him during his first months there. Luka later recalled that those first few months were extremely difficult. He barely understood anything, so most of the time he just stayed quiet, listened to the people around him, and slowly learned the language. But sooner or later, he adapted, improved his Spanish, and got used to the training sessions and the demands of the club. In just a few years, he went from being an academy player to becoming a member of Real Madrid's first team. At just 15 years old, he was already training with the senior squad. That was an incredible achievement because players his age were still competing only at the youth level, while he was already practicing with grown professionals. At 16, he made his debut for the senior team. At that moment, he became the youngest player in the club's history to do so. By the age of 17, Luka was no longer just a promising young player. He was already a regular member of the first team and was outperforming most professional players. Not only was he far ahead of everyone his own age, among his peers, he simply had no competition. Even at the professional level, he was playing unbelievably well. During the 2016-17 season, Luka started breaking records. He became the youngest EuroLeague Round MVP, won the EuroLeague Rising Star Award, which is given to the best young player in the competition, and was also named the best young player of the Spanish League. And he achieved all of that at just 17 years old. At 18, he was called up to the Slovenian national team and helped his country win the European Championship for the first time in its history. He also played brilliantly throughout the tournament. He confidently ran the offense, created scoring opportunities, and put up important points. He also knocked down huge shots that many experienced professionals wouldn't even dare to take, while Luka had no problem taking that responsibility. In the end, after putting up outstanding numbers for an 18-year-old, he helped Slovenia reach the final, where they defeated Serbia. Slovenia became European champions for the first time in history, and at just 18 years old, Luka had already established himself as one of the best players in his country. By the age of 19, Luka had already become a EuroLeague champion, won the Spanish League title, earned the EuroLeague regular season MVP award, and collected many other individual honors. In fact, no young player before him had ever achieved that much in European basketball. Then it was time for the NBA draft. Luka was heavily underestimated. Many coaches and scouts said he was too slow, lacked explosiveness, and wasn't athletic enough. People believed that his style of play simply wouldn't translate to the NBA. In the end, Luka was selected with the 3rd overall pick. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, but was almost immediately traded to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for another highly talented young player, Trae Young. From his very first season, Luka proved that he could dominate not only in the EuroLeague, but also in the NBA. It quickly became clear that Dallas had found its future superstar. At the beginning of the season, he wasn't the team's starting point guard and had to share playing time with another player. But as the season went on, he earned more and more minutes. By the second half of the season, Luka had truly broken out. He started averaging around 20 points per game while also grabbing rebounds and dishing out assists. He showed that he could do everything on the court and quickly established himself as one of the league's most versatile players. Luka became the youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-double. He also became the first teenager ever to score 30 points in a game while recording a triple-double. By the end of his rookie season, Luka was named the NBA Rookie of the Year, falling just 2 votes short of becoming the unanimous winner. Even after that very first season, it was obvious that Luka was destined to become a superstar and that he had an incredible future ahead of him. Many people believe that to succeed in the NBA, you need elite speed, incredible athleticism, and insane jumping ability. In other words, pure physical talent. But Luka Dončić is living proof that this isn't always true. He performs at the highest level, puts up incredible numbers, and plays amazing basketball without relying on any of those physical advantages. Instead, what he has is an exceptional understanding of the game, outstanding court vision, a great feel for the ball, and excellent chemistry with his teammates. Most players try to speed the game up as much as possible, but Luka does the exact opposite. He slows the game down, makes defenders relax, and waits for the perfect moment to attack. That's what makes him so special. He has changed the way people look at basketball by proving that what truly matters isn't athleticism. It's basketball IQ, understanding the game, and controlling the pace. After an outstanding rookie season, Luka took another huge step forward in his second year. He averaged around 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists per game, which was simply unbelievable for such a young player. It was only his second NBA season, yet he was already putting up incredible numbers and was in the conversation for the league's MVP award. He earned his first selection to the All-NBA First Team and became one of the youngest players in NBA history to receive that honor. But he truly made his name in the playoffs. Dallas faced the Los Angeles Clippers, and in one of the games Luka put up 43 points, grabbed 17 rebounds, and dished out 13 assists. He recorded a triple-double, and on top of that, hit the game-winning shot. Unfortunately, Dallas still lost the series to the Clippers and was eliminated from the playoffs. But for Luka, it was a massive turning point. People no longer saw him as just another talented young player. They started seeing him as one of the future faces of the NBA and a future superstar. For several seasons in a row, the Dallas Mavericks kept making the playoffs, but they constantly ran into the same opponent, the Los Angeles Clippers. No matter how hard they tried, they just couldn't get past them. Luka did everything he could to win. He recorded triple-doubles, put up some of the best numbers in the league, but it still wasn't enough. People started saying that Luka Dončić only played for himself, only cared about his statistics, held on to the ball too much, and wasn't capable of making his teammates better. It's worth remembering, though, that Luka was only 21 or 22 years old at the time. Then came the 2021-22 season, and it became a turning point. Dallas finally made it past the first round of the playoffs by defeating the Utah Jazz. But in the next round, they faced a much tougher opponent, the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix was considered one of the strongest teams in the league, and many people believed they were the favorites to win the NBA championship. But then the impossible happened. Luka and the Mavericks defeated the Suns and advanced to the Western Conference Finals. Unfortunately, they were met there by the Golden State Warriors, led by Stephen Curry. Even though Luka averaged around 30 points per game, it still wasn't enough to get Dallas to the NBA Finals. At that point, everything seemed to be going perfectly for Luka. He kept putting up unbelievable numbers and improved his game every single season. He recorded a historic triple-double with 60 points and 21 rebounds, something no player had ever accomplished before. Later, he exploded for 73 points in a game against the Atlanta Hawks while shooting an incredible percentage from the field. His best individual season came in 2023-24. He averaged 34 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists per game. Unfortunately, even those incredible numbers weren't enough for him to win the NBA Most Valuable Player award. And once again, Dallas wasn't able to make a deep playoff run. Then came one of the biggest surprises in recent NBA history. Everyone believed Luka would spend his entire career in Dallas, and Luka himself had repeatedly said he wanted to stay there. But suddenly, the Mavericks made the shocking decision to trade him to the Los Angeles Lakers, giving up the player who had carried the franchise for years. Many fans and analysts consider it one of the worst trades in modern NBA history. But Luka had no choice but to move forward. Instead of letting the trade affect him negatively, he embraced the new opportunity. He joined a much stronger team alongside stars like LeBron James, continued putting up outstanding numbers, and helped the Lakers become legitimate championship contenders. Luka continues to break records, plays incredible basketball, and is widely regarded as one of the best basketball players on the planet.